Yay, I think we're live. Woohoo! Hi, Jamie. Hi, Ian. Gonna give it just a couple of seconds to let a couple more people get in. Yay, I'm glad you like this project, Ann. This is a fun little project. Fun, fun, fun. Lots of things we can do with it. Hi, Linda. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. Let me take care of that. Sorry about that, guys. Hi, Cindy Lou. Hey, Shirley. Sue is here. Yay. All right, guys, I'm going to play the intro, and then we're just going to go ahead and get started tonight. Okay, this is November's calendar, guys. I just want to say thank you to all of my moderators. You guys are awesome, doing a great job. We greatly, greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you to all my Patreon and Ko-fi supporters and my YouTube memberships. Greatly appreciate you guys too. Couldn't do this without you guys as well. This is November's calendar. Now, Wednesday is Veterans Day, and I have some things that I have to do. So I won't be going live or releasing a file. Actually, I will be releasing a file. I apologize. My husband's phone is going off. So anyway, I apologize for that distraction. I'm not going live, and I am releasing a file for you guys. I've already posted my photo in the group of the doormat. You guys who are patrons or Ko-fi or YouTube members or are my moderators, you have access to that file now. It won't release to the public until Wednesday. So you get early access for being a member. And then I'm going to do just a file release on Friday as well. And then we'll go back on our Monday, Wednesday. It's going to be kind of weird through the holidays because everybody does different things. We get busy. So I'll be throwing out files, and we'll be going live on Mondays, and then scatter everything else out. All right, so let's pop over to the project. This is the file. Now, guys, if you are a supporter, you have access to the file. You have to be a supporter for this file. You'll also see on the site next to it a PNG file. And I'm going to see if I can't get mine opened up here and show you guys what it looks like. It's going to look like this when you open it up. Now, everybody can go and get this. I just went ahead and did it for you guys. I just Googled the images, so if you don't want to download my PNG, the UPS has no background on it. The FedEx has no background. The post office and the Amazon one do have backgrounds on them. But all you have to do is upload it to Design Space and just click the white area and erase it. It cleans up fine. I tested them. You shouldn't have any issues with those. So you can make several different types of boxes from tonight's file. So you'll need to get that PNG, or again, just go look up your own images and grab those. If you want to do this, I've got this set as brown, and this is for the UPS truck. If you want to cut these two pieces in yellow and maybe this piece here in black, you can do these, cut these down here for windows and do a school bus. So you can do this for their bus drivers. If you change this to white, you'll have your your post office truck and your FedEx truck. And I think Amazon's are gray now, their vehicles. Some of them are still white maybe, but most of them around my area are a bluish gray. So you can change that out. And then you're just going to add your logos for your tag. And it took me a long time to get that drive safely in there small enough for print and cut. So if I were you guys, I wouldn't move that. But you can unflatten that right there. And then you can come in here and you can change these colors to purple and orange for your FedEx. If you want to do those. So you can come in here and change those, and without moving anything, then just select it all and flatten it again. Okay? So whatever theme that you're doing, if you want to do your tag, you can do that. This piece over here, I'm not going to save this because I don't want to mess it up. This is the windshield piece. Now, I did mine this way. If you just want to cut 2 squares for your windshield, you can do that. I kind of like this layered look better, and that's why I did mine like this. Totally up to you. 2 squares will do it on your box, but the problem with that is if you're using a post office box, the box is going to be white. So if you cut 2 white squares for the windshield, it's not going to be seen. So you may just want to cut the one piece in blue or black or whatever and do it that way. But I like the layered look. So tons of things you can do with this. You can do probably even a fire truck if you wanted to do that. You could probably get a fire truck out of this. Play around with it. Have fun with it. Okay? So again, this is for supporters only, and you'll get that PNG file that I've set up. Again, those I just Googled images. They're not my images. These are not, you can't sell these with these logos on them, guys. Just so you know that it's for your personal use only, because their trademarks and logos are copyrighted, okay? And if you have any issues with the file whatsoever, let me know. Because I did make some adjustments since I cut mine, and I'll show you that when we go to put it together. Hi, Patty. So I wanted to go in and talk a little bit about text and fonts in Design Space. We had a lot of questions last week about text and text tools. And they were talking about how they couldn't get to it to change the size or the lettering. Guys, you have to remember that when you're working with text, you have to have text selected up here to get to it, or at least have the box in there. So if you're using your fonts and things that are Cricut images, they're in there, they're for you, and there's no issue with those. If you go to font bundles or somewhere and you get those fonts, those are going to be called system fonts because they are not in Design Space. Okay? If you're using a manager, and I'm just going to go and pull one up real quick. If you guys give me just a second, I accidentally closed my page. I apologize. And let me grab that. I'm going to go to there we go. Pulling up some Creative Fabrica here. Creative Fabrica has some tools, and one of them is called Font Cloud. So if you go over to Creative Fabrica and come to the tools, And a lot of people have asked before about this shape cloud. Shape cloud is where you want a bunch of words and you want them generated into a shape. Guys, make sure that you're looking at the tools on these sites, because some of them have awesome tools, like Font Bundles has a monogram maker. So you have a lot of tools at your disposal on these sites where you get your fonts and things. But Font Cloud will help you manage your online fonts, and it's free. I've tried it. I tested it out. I really like it. But it doesn't matter. If you're using one of these font managers, it's going to show everything that you either upload to it. This one is one that you would upload to. So if you have favorite fonts and those are the only ones you use to design with, that's what you're going to want to upload in there. Okay? Some of them will read all of your system fonts. Even those will not read your Cricut fonts. They don't see those because they are not installed on your system. They are within Design Space. And the way that you can decipher that is you can think about your computer being one basket and Design Space being another basket. And when you get one of these tools, it will pull everything from one basket. It will not pull it from the Cricut Design Space basket. It doesn't have permission to get in there and look at it, okay? It's a private basket. It's like a diary. You can't see inside it. WordMarket is another one. Wordmark.it. This will go in and it will read all of my system fonts. I'm not going to log in and do all of that stuff, but it will. You can type in "have a nice day," whatever it is that you're. Oops. You can go in and type "have a nice day," whatever it is that you want to see, and it's going to start looking up and showing your fonts and showing you what that phrase will look like in that font. Okay. It is not going to show me any of my Design Space fonts. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so just so you know, when you're getting all of these programs and you're doing this, especially if you're new and loading all this, you're still not going to be able to see every single font, what it looks like. It will not read them. So that is one of the things that I wanted to clear up for everybody that I saw questions on last week. The next one is selecting that font. Now when you upload, you'll go into when you're trying to upload a font into Design Space, you do not upload it from here. This is for images. When you have a font, and we're just going to, I lost my window. We're just going to pop over to the font, and we've talked about this before. The fonts are not free. They're free for you to use for your personal use if it says that you can. Now when you're looking at these, you'll need to go in and you need to actually look. Right here it says free for personal use. Things like that. Some of them will even say not for personal use or anything. It's just an advertisement for a font. Okay, so I'm just going to download this one really quick, and you can see that it went up here. I'm on a Mac, so yours may be a little bit different. If you're on Google Chrome, it may come up in the bottom left corner, but it unzipped that font. So I don't have Kind and Rich, which is the font here in Design Space, and we're just going to go over and I'm going to show you. We've got "have a nice day" right here. So I'm going to go and look for that font. Now I can look at all my fonts right here. I can look at my system fonts, which are fonts that I've installed or fonts that are on my computer, or I can look at the Cricut fonts, which are not on my computer, but in Design Space. Okay. And I can go in and I can search, and Kind and Rich is not in there at all. I'm going to go to all and look for this font. And you can see nothing is populating, no results found, okay? Because I haven't installed it yet. So when I go and I got that font and I downloaded it. It's right here. I'm just going to double click that folder. And when I double click that folder, then I get my pop-up and it shows I can use personal OTF. Some of them might say TTF. That's fine. If it has both OTF and TTF, OTF is the new format, so that's what we get. So we're going to double click it, and when I double click on that, then I get this pop-up. And down here in the bottom it says Install Font. Now if you're on a Windows computer, when you open that up, you might see a little letter A on a piece of paper. That's the one you're going to click, and it's going to ask you to install the font. So you're going to click on Install, and then it's going to pop up. And let's see, did it go in yet? There it is, right there. So now I have that font installed on my computer. Okay, so I'm just going to close that out, and I'm going to close the font. Now I'm going to come over here and select that, and I'm going to look, and it's still not there. Oops. I mean, I can do everything, I can research. It's not going to be there because I had Design Space open. And I'm just going to save this so I don't have to type all this. And save. And then I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to shut Design Space down and quit it. And then I'm going to open it back up again. And I'm going to open that project. Here we go, and click Customize because I've saved it. And now we're going to go back over to our tools, and I'm going to search for Kind and Rich, and boom, there it is. So you have to close Design Space down when you bring those in so that it can refresh itself, so to speak, and bring that font in. Is everybody with me so far? If you guys have questions, don't forget to ask now. Please ask your questions. We don't want to leave anybody out in the cold. So, I mean, I kind of like this, but I can see that this is a cursive font when you do it in lowercase, like I have it typed right here. And then let's just do an uppercase. So you have two different looks here. And I'm going to go into Advanced. Here's your Advanced tools. If you plan to curve your text, you do not want to ungroup two letters. Once you ungroup two letters, they will become individual images, and there's nothing to curve. You can't curve one letter, okay? You have to have a group of letters in order to curve. You can't regroup them and then go back. You can hit undo or you can retype it and start over, but once you ungroup to letters, you're done with it, other than manually moving, okay? But you can ungroup to lines and get two different lines going. Now, I like this down here at the bottom if I was going to be using that, but I don't like the spacing. So I can go up here to my letter space tools. Here's your line. I should have done line space first. I apologize, guys. I'm going to undo that and go back before I ungroup. This is your line space, and you can watch what happens if I want to decrease that line space because I have two lines of text that I'm going to be using in my project. And you can manually do it too. I'm going to do a -3 here, and you can see it's closing the gap in between the two lines. So that's what your, hi Wanda, that's what your line spacing does. So if you've ever clicked on line spacing and you say it's not doing anything, I don't know what that tool is, you probably just have one line of text. And that's why it's doing nothing. But if you want to get them really close together, you can go in and manually put it in. And again, you can nudge it a little bit with your up and down arrows. So that is what that tool does. Now I'm going to go back and ungroup to lines, and I'll show you. Let's see. Leave it on. You notice that with it still grouped, my curve is not available because you can only curve one line at a time, and I have two lines here, so my curve tool is not available. But once I go and ungroup to lines, then my curve tool becomes available. My letter space, this is going to help me close the gap on those letters if I don't like it. And the next thing I can do is I can curve that. I don't like the spacing because it's all run together. But if I want to curve it, I have to curve it now. And then I can go in and close those letters some more. Close them down a little bit more. And if I'm happy with that curvature, then I can go and ungroup to letters. And then I can select those three and weld. And then I'm just going to kind of bump my down key just a little bit, just to get it out of the way. And then I'm going to select these and weld. And then I'm going to select these four and weld. And now I can kind of space these out and still keep where it is a little more legible. And it gives it that nicer look. Okay, now with this one up here, a lot of people don't realize that this is really not the way that this font is intended to look. If you were looking over there at the font, all their letters were in cursive, but they were connected. So what you have to do is letter space those down and bring them in closer together, okay, until they connect. Now that's a little bit too close. Don't like that. Can't get them like I want. So what I'm going to do is come up to my advanced. I'm going to ungroup to letters. And then I'm going to select my Y. And I'm going to hold my shift key because this is going to keep it in line. And slide it over. And then I'm going to select the A with it and slide it up. I'm going to select those three and weld. And then I'm just going to use my arrow key and bump it over a couple of times. I'm going to hold my shift key and slide this one in. I'm just going to slide that I and that N over. I'm going to select those and I'm going to weld. And then I'm holding my shift key just so I can keep everything lined up. Hold my shift key while I move this over just a touch. And then select those and weld. Now at this point, as you can see, that's a nice line and it looks good, but now I have no text tools. Why don't I have any text tools when I select these? Well, I do on that one. And you can see because I didn't weld this one, okay? I welded these, so now they're an image. If you look in your layers panel, they are now images. This one is still text, you can see, and it tells me which text it is because I didn't do anything to it. It was a single letter. Okay? And then we have this one here. Also, now, because I welded it, an image. No way to curve those because I can't curve an image. I can only curve text. And once you have separated it, it is no longer. You can see single letter. I can't do anything to it. Now if I add, I don't know why that says 65. That's probably something on the font itself. It says 65. I didn't type that in there. So if I change that to April, now you can see that I have a curve tool for that. Of course, I would need to letter space that in. So that's why it's important to do all your letter spacing before you go and weld those. Now, another issue that everybody has had before, and I'm going to see if I can, let's see, what about AY? We'll do, let me do a CE. CE will probably do it better. So another issue that many have when they're doing are O's. O's are really bad about it. Let's do O's. I'm going to ungroup those to lines, or just to letters. And I'm going to make that really big so you guys can see it. Another issue that people have when they're doing this is they will put these letters together, and I'm doing this large and very close intentionally, but you see how that O has that little tail inside there? When I go and weld those, and now it's not going to happen because I need it to happen. Maybe they fixed it. If you ever have your letters, I don't know why this one's not going to do it. Maybe, did they fix that issue, Jamie? With it filling in? Maybe I didn't have enough in there. Yeah, I guess they did. Maybe they fixed it. Just in case, if you run into a font and it fills in completely and it looks like this, I can still give you guys an example. Oh, it's too big? Is that what it is, Shirley? Let me type it again. That's right, I did make it big, didn't I? So let's just letter space these down really close. I know that's hard for you guys to see, but I'm just going to letter space those down to where it's inside. And now I'm going to weld it. Yeah, you see, there it did. It filled it in. So when it fills in like that, that is the issue. The issue is that you have 1 pixel, at least 1 pixel of the other letter inside that O. And if that happens, all you need to do is just back it off just a tiny bit, and then when you weld it, it won't do that. Or you can do what I did, make it really, really big, then weld it, and then resize it down to the size that you need. Yeah, I did it big so that people could see, and it kept it from doing it. So when you're doing your letters and if they fill in like that, it's simply because you need to make it bigger and then weld it, or either space them out just a teeny tiny bit more and then weld it. So everybody understands that when you're doing fonts, you have all fonts, system fonts, Cricut fonts, and then you have your filters where you can look for your fonts that you own, multi-layer, single layer, writing, what you've saved for offline, those kind of things. We covered what a system font was and what a Cricut font was. Okay, Cricut are part of the Design Space software. And then I want to make sure I covered all the tools. Style. Style, usually it's going to be set on regular by default. If you have a bold option on a font, it will do it. Italic, if you have the option, it will do it. Most of these are going to be your Cricut fonts. There's only 1 or 2 that I've run across that will actually bold up and everything for you that are not Cricut fonts. So if I have that one, that's your regular, and then you have your bold. I don't think it will. This one has an italic. It doesn't. Maybe it is. And then, of course, writing. And that brings us to what happens if I do this to a writing font. If I want this to write, you can see how it outlines, and it will do that on a basic font too. Let me just type in. That one is still text, right? Yep, that one's still text. So this is one I haven't done anything to, that I just typed it. So if I went and told it that I wanted it to write, doesn't have a writing font there, go to line type and draw. You can see how it just does the outline. Writing fonts are called single line fonts, and writing fonts in Design Space that are owned by Cricut were designed to be a single line writing font. When you're doing other fonts that you get from DeFont and all of these other places, if it is not a single line font, it will follow the cut path. And that's what this is. So if I were going to draw this or cut it, it would be the same path that my blade or my pen would take, okay, rather than drawing. So keep that in mind when you're trying to pick a font and you know that you're going to use a pen. Take a look at it. What you see here on screen is exactly how it's going to write. If you can see grid behind it, it's not going to be filled in. If you're looking for that look, you're better off to flatten it to a shape for a print and cut. Okay? So does anybody have any other questions about any of the font tools? Now you also have your font size here, and you can make that whatever you want to make it. If you want to make it a 12, and you can see you can barely see it there. So font sizes, I don't go by that. I use a template of whatever my object may be. If it's a circular object, I'll put, and it's 3 inches big, I'll put a 3-inch circle in there and I'll size my fonts to that. Or I will use an outside program like Sure Cuts a Lot or FontLab Pad, something like that, to do a lot of text. That way I can upload it as an SVG instead of text and taking up all of that space. Also, one more thing, when you weld a font, you can notice that it comes up as weld result. Guys, if you right click in that layers panel and go to image info, it will tell you what font that is. It's grayed out, but it does say kind and rich personal use right here in the image info. So even if you weld it, you can see that unwelded, it tells you what it is here in the header. If you've welded it, all you have to do is right click, go to your image info. It's grayed out, but it will be there. I don't know. That was one. Let me save it. Sometimes it will just say you used a font or something uploaded. Yeah, you can see that it's going to tell me that I have what fonts that are Cricut are in there, but it's not going to show me anything else in this area. I have to come into the project to see it. You were looking for that, Vicki? Yay! All right. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We will come back and visit it if we need to. Of course, everybody know what alignment is, right, left, center. If you don't, you can play around with it. You'll see it's just going to adjust your text and line it up on your project, or to the right, to the left if you're doing writing and stuff like that. Just like it would in Word or Pages or whatever, a Word document. All right, so let's pop over and put our project together. What do you say? Yay, there we are. Make sure it changed for you guys. So how cute is this little guy? And I do have a Velcro dot in mind, guys, because once you get, you're going to need that little Velcro dot. You can get those at Walmart sewing section. Once you get your candies and stuff loaded in here, you're going to need that little Velcro dot to keep it from pushing up into the inside. And I'll show you that when we put ours together. I just love these little boxes. They're so cute. So you're going to need some ribbon, whatever embellishments that you want, and a Velcro dot. And then some glue, of course. We have all our little pieces there. You have these two pieces. These are your main ones. You're just going to fold on all the score lines. And everything is going to fold away from you. This was I want to say it was an old Stampin' Up! File that we cut by hand. And I was like, I really don't like the way that it's designed. Now that we have our Cricuts, we can design this a little bit better and make it a little bit easier. So that's what I've done. Now this piece You can only get one per page, but you can get all of your extras cut out of that same page. You can get 2 to a page of the bottom piece. I tried everything. Now, if you shrink it down and make it smaller, because you can make these smaller, you can make them larger. Just don't forget to group everything together and size the whole group at one time. And you can make it larger if you want. This is just a pretty good size. You can get quite a bit of candy and stuff like that in it. This is the brown out of that. It is Cricket. I want to say it's out of that tone pack. I guess that is still available. Where it had the brown tones. I want to say Scentsy pack. I don't know. I might be wrong on that one. What weight is Y, Vicky? On that font? Is that what you were asking me? What weight the Y was? I don't remember. Looks like it was about a 210 on the size. So now we have our little boxes done, and we're going to start with this. This is the base. Now I used a C in here to the paper. This is Cricut 80-pound cardstock. I have a little score line, and mine's a little bit big, and it does show up a little bit, but it's okay. I didn't mind. I did size that down for you guys. And it's just a guide. That's all that score is for. I'm using art glitter glue. We're just going to put it on those 2 tabs, and we're going to bring that up and make sure that we've got that square on both sides. Okay. And then we're going to come on to this one, and we're going to put it on these 2 tabs. And I only do these 2 at a time, just so that I don't get this one started hanging up on it. So I'm just going to do those. And then I'm just going to set that to the side and let it dry for a second. And then I'm going to go to this piece. And on this one, going to go to this big tab here. And we're going to align that. Just like that. Now I did tell a story. This tab, I didn't angle it for a reason. The actual tab that is just a big square, it is folded the opposite direction. Okay. I did that to remind me and still did it. So it's going to look something like this. And then we're going to go to these 2 little tabs. And we're going to tuck those inside. And keep that square. Just give it a press. And now we're going to let that dry for a second. We're going to come back over here. And we're going to glue these 2 tabs. And we're just going to tuck it inside and keep it level. This can be a little bit tricky to hold and keep level, but you can do it. And then grab your other one. And if it's not going, sure that you're not pushing it down on top of that other tab that we just glued. So then you'll have a piece that looks like this and one that looks like this. Next, you're going to glue right here on this square tab. Okay. And this is, I just kind of stick this in this way and then tilt. Actually, I found it easier. I remember now. I just lined up the edges and held it here, and then I went in and I squeezed that tab down across the other one. Right there. Just keep your box level. You can do it. And squeeze that tab over, making the box one box. Okay. If your hands are smaller than mine, you can get in there and give it a really good squeeze. But I found that to be the easiest. And you want to let it dry for a second, okay? Before you start pulling and tugging on it. All right. And then you're just going to fold that back. This is where you just glued, okay? This is what the tab you just glued on the inside there. And now you've got your little truck box. You're going to take your little black disc while that's drying on the inside, and we're just going to pop that down even on this side. These will really show up good on, I know that may look blue, yeah, but I promise it is black. You're just going to pop it down on this side and the other, lining them up. And then you're going to look at your score mark. Now mine are off, so don't pay attention to mine. You're going to look at your score mark. I'm just going to actually put mine on the inside and mark it. You won't have to do this step, guys. You just want your wheels to be even. And I'm just kind of guesstimating mine. But yours should be right. I measured it, got it all done. You can skip that step. It's just that my score marks are too high because I accidentally bumped it before I cut it, and I messed mine up. Kind of looks like a fender. And I'm just going to slide mine down. Still got it off a little bit. There we go. Art glitter glue. Matte and clear, so I'm just going to let it hang there. And all I'm doing is making sure that all truck wheels sit level. We're going to give that a second to dry. I'm just catching up on comments. Then your white disc is going to go in the center. Oh, cool. Yeah, she will love that. And if you're doing a mail truck, your labels, make sure that you flatten those to a square, guys, so that you can put that on the side of it, or you may just want to cut them separate, just the blue piece, and just pop it down. Totally up to you how you want to layer your PNGs for the others. Oops. Get over there. And you can cut the 2 of these, or 4 of these actually, of these little black circles, silver for hubcaps if you want. I just tried to make it look like a utility truck, so I kept them black. So we have those. And then I took a Copic marker with mine. This is color Y19. And I just went around the edges because this was print and cut and I didn't want the white edges. Again, that's just personal preference. Totally up to you. Pop those down. And then we're going to flip it over, and now let's this piece on top. And guys, if you use art glitter glue, get your orders in. If it's already freezing in your area, you might want to try Amazon. You might be able to get it from Amazon. As long as it doesn't sit out and freeze, you'll be okay. But it cannot ship in freezing weather. It will turn to a cottage cheese-like mess. So we're just going to put our little windshield on. Now guys, you can also write a message to and from on the windshield before you cut that if you want. I didn't do a very good job of lining that up, but you guys get the gist. And now we need headlights. So I'm just going to put my gray dot down. You can use silver. Again, dress it up like you want. That looks good. And then put your old white dot on top. Oh, that's great, Patty. Yeah. I ordered mine already. It's supposed to be here Wednesday. Because this is my last bottle. So now we have our little truck. Now we need to... Oops, almost lost my tag there. My ribbon. Before I do that, I'm going to pull this open. It's had time to dry. And I'm going to place my Velcro dots. And I like to peel mine and stick it. And then peel together. I'm just going to place it to the inside, right below. And then I'm just going to bring it down even and give it a little press. Doesn't need much. Okay, I can get it apart now. Get it overkill, but it's the only size I had. They have some really small ones. And that's really what you need, is the small ones. There we go. Then open it up and give it a good press on both sides. Okay? And that will keep this piece from running up and making it looking like a broken truck. Okay? Because that we certainly don't want. And for the rear, for a little pull tab, I just cut a little piece of ribbon. You don't need much, just a little loop. And I used a piece of Scotch tape on mine. Taped it down. It's a little long. Get it the length that you want. That looks good. The length that you want, and tape that piece down. And I put it on upside down. Yay! Flip it. Don't put it on upside down. That won't be cute. And then I just went over that with glue. And put it on the back. How cute! And then I took mine a little step further. I don't know if you guys can see it, if it's going to show up on camera, but I wanted those to look like headlights without making it too dressy, I guess you want to call it. Got my little headlight off there. Excuse me. And then I used just some liquid glass. I get this from Close to My Heart. You can use glossy accents, anything that's clear. And that's kind of dressed up my headlights just a little bit. Okay? And you'll want to let it dry in that position or it will run. See, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, if it's going to focus in on it, but it does reflect. It looks like little glass headlights on there. And again, that's called liquid glass. Super cute, super easy, and fun. And the kids can help you with these. They would love putting these together. So does anybody have any other questions? Any design space questions? Anything you need help with? Anybody stuck on any projects? Super cute and fun. Yay! All right, guys. Again, Patreons, Ko-fi supporters, Cutie Collector and Hire on YouTube. Wednesday's file is already available with the tutorial for you guys. It won't. Please don't share it. It's not available to the public until Wednesday, and the file is strictly a supporter file. This is the ruler that was in the mystery box, guys. This is the 12 by 24 ruler that was in the mystery box. Yes, just the big. It's just the big version of the ruler. Nice, nice, nice. And it came with the pistachio cutie. If you guys are not signed up on Crafting with April, if all you have to do is register. If you're registered, you'll get an email from me, unless you've unsubscribed. And then you will get emails when the mystery boxes come out. I am not a product expert. I don't get them in advance, but as soon as I get the information and see them online, I post it up for you guys. Send out an email. Oh no, I just got mine today, Vicki. Mine just came today. Several people had already gotten theirs, but mine got rerouted. A lot of times FedEx will do that. They'll reroute it. So when they do, they take it to the post office, which is a mile from me, which is the post office that delivers here. But for some reason, it gets rerouted to another city and then brought back and then distributed. So that's what happened to mine. All right. I thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And as always, if you have any questions or you need help with anything, please let us know. Come join the group. We're happy to help you out. Yours did, Jamie? Yeah. Hey, Sheila. We're just wrapping up. All right. And I am going to also, like I said, release a file. Well, I think I've already done the file. I think I gave it to you guys, but I think I'm going to do another one. Just a tutorial on working with vinyl on Friday on round objects so that you guys can see what to do with your ornaments. So that's what's in store for. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all my moderators. And thank you to all of my supporters. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Oh, and I forgot. A lot of people have been asking about why I'm not on camera and why I don't do larger projects. And I did a GoFundMe page and I explained why. And let me give you guys a link so that you guys can go and read my story. And if you want to contribute, you can. And if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. Nothing will change. I'm still going to keep doing what we're doing. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. But if you want to read more about my story, you can find it here. Let me grab that link. Let's see. And there we go. So if you want to know more, you can find it on GoFundMe. That is my link to that. And you can read about my story and what I have planned. And if I can get there, then we'll get there. And if not, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And if you have supported me on the GoFundMe, I thank you very, very much. All right, guys. You have a wonderful night. I will catch you. Well, you will see the video on Wednesday. If you're a supporter, you've already got it. Then there's one on Friday. And then I will see you live on Monday. Have a great night.